says Nigeria needs 10% growth for $1 trillion economy.
Obi and others protest at NAS over Electoral Act amendment.
Ezekwesili and Adegborua seek mandatory real-time transmission of election results.
Also, CJN tasks judges on reflective and evidence-based judgments.
Appeal court upholds Senate suspension of Natasha and faults contempt charge.
In foreign scene, we told you that Hong Kong pro-democracy tycoon Jimmy Lai gets 20 years jail.
In business, CBN and NCC release measures to reserve failed airtime and data transactions.
Well, in sports news, Olympic medals break apart and raising concerns over quality.
In entertainment, files blast Nigerian leaders and religious institutions over insecurity and poor governance. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel on YouTube. We are Voice of the People Television, and on other social media platforms, we air at VOP TV Live. If you witness news happening near you, we want to hear from you. Send your eyewitness report, event coverage request, photos or videos directly via WhatsApp to 0814 606 4057. Can also reach our newsroom by email at news@vop.ng. I am Nenna Ndomdioto.
And I'm Vivian Oguche. Thank you for watching.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is African News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news, we analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Apelon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that is happening in the football. Don't join the Voice of the People television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 20 minutes off, please the sport.
And it's Hakim Ziyech who puts the Atlas.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People television, where your health has a voice.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you.
Good morning and welcome to the Tuesday edition of VOP This Morning on the Voice of the People television. My name is Jane Ogoye and it's a pleasure to be here with you today. So let's check out the topics on the show today. Electoral reforms, Obi leads massive protest to National Assembly over Senate's rejection of real-time election results transmission. Plus, our economic reforms is yielding positive results, says President Bola Tinubu. And of course, Tinubu's security promises under fire as bandits ravage communities and missed African's promise. But before we go straight into these conversations, let's dive into some of the trending stories in Nigeria today. Good morning, Mr. Okoro.
Good morning, Jane. Very well. I'm doing good.
How are you?
Yes, good morning to you, Jane. I'm Moses Humphrey, and of course, there are other trending stories that we'll dive into right away. So, Nigeria's political establishment is facing fresh scrutiny as the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERP, has petitioned the Code of Conduct Bureau, CCB, to investigate alleged abuse of office in the gazetting of tax reform laws and amendments to the Electoral Act. Well, SERP accuses lawmakers and executive officials of secretly altering harmonized versions of tax bills before they were signed into law, raising concerns of conflict of interest and erosion of due process. Even more explosive are claims that senators deliberately removed provisions on electronic transmission of election results from the Electoral Act Amendment Bill after a majority had voted for their inclusion, sparking outrage among civil society groups who saw this as a direct assault on electoral transparency. Now, the petition, signed by SERP's Deputy Director, Kolawole Oluwadare, demands a thorough probe into what critics describe as legislative manipulation and undermines democracy and public trust, leaving ordinary Nigerians to wonder if the laws guiding their taxes and votes are being rewritten behind closed doors. Well, this is a conversation that has been on the front burner for quite a long time now. Nigerians have been talking about the tax laws, especially when it was made known that there was a gazetted copy that wasn't what was agreed upon. That speaks to the tax laws. And that, of course, has eroded trust in the National Assembly. Well, not just that, a few other things that have happened before that time has eroded the trust of Nigerians on the desire of those in the hallowed chambers to make laws that will uplift the nation, as it were. But now we're talking about the Electoral Act bill. Well, it's still being deliberated upon as it is right now. Civil society organizations are protesting, and that, of course, makes up one of the conversations that we'll be having this morning. So, yes, I think we'll just keep our eyes on it, and it's a good thing that Nigerians are reacting. Nigerians are talking about these things at this time, because if the people continue to keep quiet, then unfortunately our political actors will continue to take Nigerians for granted. So Nigerians should speak and are speaking, but I think the voices should be a lot more louder.
Yeah, the voices should be a lot more louder, and I think the voices are getting louder. Yesterday there was a protest at the National Assembly complex, and we were told that the senators were on recess, but because of that protest and all of that, the fact that Nigerians are saying, no, we cannot take this anymore, they are built to reconvene on, I think today, they were earlier scheduled to reconvene on the 24th of February, but they had to move it forward. They are going to reconvene today. Peter Obi was there, Tanko Yunusa was there, Aisha Yusufu was there, Peter for Nigeria was there. A lot of Nigerians, young men that says, look, enough of all of this were there. And they said, look, this is what Nigerians want. You are there to represent us. You are not representing yourselves. Now, the Senate has come under very intense scrutiny lately. Nigerians, as a matter of fact, no longer trust their senators, their legislators, because for everything they have done, they come across as people who are just there for self-serving. They just go there to take salaries and do whatever pleases them, make laws that will somehow or the other entrench their position in government, more like regime protection, if you don't mind. They always protect, they are always very protective of themselves. But Nigerians are saying we can no longer have enough of this. And it speaks to what happened yesterday, it speaks to people's power. when the people mobilize and say, look, in orderly manner, in an orderly fashion, the government is bound to listen. I spoke to one of the protesters yesterday on my show, during my show yesterday in Political Lens, and the guy said that the conduct of the police was very orderly, no harassment, no water can, no stray bullets and all of that. They just asked them, conduct yourself in an orderly manner. And according to him, some of the policemen also, in tune with what is going on. They say, look, we like this. That is not what Nigerians want at the National Assembly. So it speaks to people power. When we say that the people have the power, that is what we mean. And not when you sit back in your home and use your keyboard to say, no, this must not happen. This must not happen. Beyond using your keyboard, you have the responsibility to come out and say, look, enough of all of this. Oh, and it doesn't end there. You also have to go and take your PVC, because your PVC is your power. Once you have that PVC, it's your power to change things. You must not change government in a violent manner. No, nobody believes in that. But protest, well, is acceptable. You can say, look, this government, this is not what we want. This is what we want at this time. And I'm happy that the Senate had to reconvene quickly today. And the protesters say we are going back, to the National Assembly to tell them this is what we want. That is democracy in action. And I like the fact that, well, the government didn't send anybody to go after anybody. We have not seen anti-protesters protests, people going to protest against the protesters. This is a good thing, because normally what we will see is people coming out to say, we support. You should not include the electronic transmission of
just a start.
Okay, it's just a start. So you think it might happen?
Yesterday was just the first day.
Okay.
I tell you, with the Nigeria that I know,
okay,
if this thing lingers for more than 2 days,
okay,
you might see those that will say, oh, no, you guys are trying to compel the National Assembly to do something else. You're trying to force their hand. And then you will see anti-protesters. Protesters protesting against the
protesters. Yes, I'm happy that you know Nigeria better than I do now, because
I didn't better than you do.
I didn't think in that direction. Honestly, I didn't think in that direction. But I was like, oh, we didn't see, because the protest had been announced earlier, and I didn't see people. I hear people say, oh, we are going to do an protest against the protest. And a lot of people are saying Peter Obi shouldn't have been there. No, he's showing some kind of desperation. Nigerians are asking, what kind of desperation? Would that desperation be more than what we saw in 2011 and 2012? Oh, really? Oh, okay. In all of that. Well, Peter Obi was there, and let's see how it goes. And I am sure that today they will reconvene and all of that. Jane, you have something to say?
Yes, I totally agree with you, and I think it's a good one, because at least our lawmakers will know that it's not business as usual. Nigerians are tired, and they want them to do the right thing. They want to hold them accountable, And I think when we have more youths key into this struggle, into this fight for accountability and doing the right thing, especially when it comes to these reforms and electoral acts, I think they would not be, they will stop taking Nigerians for granted. I think for me that's the most important thing.
All right, now let's get into it. In a striking development across Nigeria's southeast, traders have cautiously reopened shops in Onitsha markets after months of crippling stay-at-home orders, though customer turnout remains low and lingering. Fear and economic strain. Well, the reopening coincides with bold claims from APC chieftain Joe Ibokwe, who declared that the region has been reclaimed from criminality, crediting security forces and community resistance for breaking the grip of violent enforcers linked to separatist agitation. While authorities hailed the return of commerce as proof of restored normalcy, many ordinary citizens remain skeptical, pointing to empty stores, reduced patronage, and a heavy toll the shutdowns have taken on livelihoods. Yes, it is an ongoing conversation around Anambra State, not particularly around the whole of Southeast, because the sit-at-home had ended in about the other 3 or 4 states of the Southeast. Anambra remained the epicenter of it all. But in all of this, a lot of people, including me, agree that, look, it is time to end this stay-at-home order. And Nnamdi Kanu had clearly said, at some point, please stop this. You can't do it on the day that I'm being taken to court, but ordinarily you shouldn't do that. Now he has come out to say enough of this, and people are happy that. But what the report says is cautiously, and some stores, still remain closed. I think for 2 reasons. Let me hazard a guess. One, a lot of people have said we now use Monday as rest day, because before the sit-at-home, we trade from Monday to Saturday. And on Sunday, we go for town meetings and all of that. So there is no rest day. So a lot of people said, well, this sit at home is one day that we can rest. So even when in Enugu, it took a lot of time. It took some time for people to get used to coming out on Mondays. Now that thing has been broken in Anambra State, I know that with time, it's not going to be instantaneous. With time, people will get used to the fact that, oh, we have reclaimed our Monday and all of that. And I said it before, the sit at home wasn't a good track. I know that people use different tracks, during self-determination, agitation, and all of that. In South Africa, they even got involved in what we call black on black then, though it was not approved, but it happened because of disagreements, splinter groups within organizations and all of that. The sit at home was not going to achieve anything because it was within the domain of the Southeast. You will simply have killed your own economy. If you want to call sit at home, you go to the center of commerce where, the national life will be affected. Otherwise, with what you see in Nigeria, the federal government will just look the other way and allow you to destroy when we were shouting insecurity in the South, what did they do? They had to deploy troops. And nothing happened. So if you continue sitting at home for 10 years, the federal government, the Nigerian state will just look the other way and allow you to destroy yourself. So it is good that the thing has ended across the 5 states of the Southeast. With time, I know that stores, schools, banks, and all of that will start opening on Mondays in Anambra. It will take a little while, but we'll eventually get there.
I agree with you. I also feel that the fact that these stores are open, but customers are scarce, actually points to the fact that fear is still rife.
Yeah, fear is still there.
Fear is still rife. And as long as that fear is rife, we'll still see a bit of, it will still be shaky until it stabilizes a bit. But the people have to have that confidence in the government's ability to ensure their safety, which is something that has not really been, that hasn't been sorted out in a while. So as long as that fear still exists, commerce and trade will not, would still be a bit shaky.
I think the governor is doing a lot to ensure that there is security in Anambra State. He launched a security outfit some time ago before I think that was in late 2024, the Agune Chamber and all of that. And initially they didn't get their mission clearly because they went out of their brief, harassing people they said were scammers and all of that, including assaulting a young lady. But they were called to order. But now I think the idea is that, look, prevent non-state actors from taking over and run over the state. And that is what we are seeing now.
Yeah.
All right, we've talked about this. We spoke on this yesterday. And yes, it's still, yesterday a few people came out. And so for those that feel Mondays are rest days, this is Nigeria. You are in Nigeria, and in Nigeria, Mondays are not rest days. Rest days are Saturdays and Sundays. If you choose to work on those days, that's your call. You're not in Afghanistan. Afghanistan is even Fridays. Fridays and Saturdays, and some other countries choose Thursdays and Fridays as rest days. But here in Nigeria, I guess you just have to adjust and go about your business.
I think people are adjusted to the sit at home.
They should readjust.
Oh, they should readjust. Yes, but it was an adjustment for them.
It's no longer business as it used to be. So let's just go back to what is acceptable. All right, Jane?
In a dramatic twist shaking Nigeria's political landscape, President Bola Tinubu has waded into the deepening crisis in Rivers State, holding a late-night closed-door meeting at the presidential villa with Governor Similaye Fubara and his predecessor, now FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, amid threats of impeachment and bitter rivalry that has destabilized the oil-rich state. Sources reveal that Fubara, once Wike's protege turned adversary, pledged renewed respect and in what observers see as a fragile truce brokered by the president to restore calm and prevent further breakdown of governance. There's fresh political tremors in Abia State, where a former lawmaker and over 200 supporters dramatically dumped the ruling party for Labour Party, citing disenchantment and aligning with what they described as a new political force for the people. Mr. Okoro, is this a permanent truce or is just a temporary calm down?
The one between...
between Wike and his godson.
Well, the intro, when the producer said, when you said it was a dramatic twist, so I was wondering what is dramatic about it. This is about the third time that we know that they are meeting. They have been meeting privately.
But the president is also again intervening.
So that's why I said it's
Yeah.
not dramatic. This is
It's
about
not-
the third time he's
Yes.
doing that publicly.
Yes.
You recall that when he went to hibernate somewhere in Europe, we learned that.
Hibernate.
Yes, so I mean, we learned that Sim Fubara, the governor of Rivers State, went to Europe to
visit
meet
him.
him, and they had discussions and all of that. And the moment Fubara came back, he started talking tough, you know. Where anybody don't follow Kona, don't follow Kurukere if you want to support APC and all of that. All those talks were not necessary, if you ask me, because at the end of the day, he has gone back to where he started from. Clearly, he has gone back to where he started from. A lot of people don't like what is going on in Rivers State because, for one, the Rivers economy is affected. The people of Rivers State are affected. Good governance is not delivered in Rivers State. There might be projects, ongoing projects here and there, but with the amount of money available to Rivers State, if you go to Rivers State, you actually discover that they are not doing well. That's the truth of the matter. They are not doing well. They are supposed to do better than that. That's the oil city, you know. There is so much money. Apart from the Lagos Island, the Obiakpo local government area, you know, that houses the industrial, Transamadi industrial area, where you have even the OICs, you know, the international oil companies, SPDC is there. They have a residential, they have a corporate office there. Chevron is there. Mobile Producing Unlimited is there. And a lot of other oil service companies are all housed in Transamadi industrial area. And their revenue take is second to that of Lagos Island. So you can imagine, yes, it is. So a lot of, in Port Harcourt, development has taken a backseat because of this political squabble between Godfather and Godson. And it has always been like that. From Amechi, between Amechi and Odele, Wike and Amechi, now Fubara and Wike himself, it doesn't speak well. Now let me go to Abuja. I don't know why the president is meeting with them again. The president has said, from what we understand, the president told them, look, young people, go and reconcile your problems. You understand? And since after that meeting, I heard that the president told Fubara, go and walk with your friend. Go and walk with your master. You know, when the president said,
master.
Yes, technically he's telling him, you know, go and resolve your problems with him. That means to remain loyal to him. And Wike came out over the weekend and said, it's only in Rivers State that we have a unity of purpose between the two major political parties, PDP and APC. What does that tell you? It just told you that I'm in control of Rivers' political structure. I'm in control of the PDP in Rivers State. I'm in control of the APC in Rivers State. And he even said, I'm interested in Oyo State. Talking about Shea Makinde and all of that. Wike is, I mean, whether we like it or not, he's playing the kind of politics that we play in Nigeria, you know. Nobody is going to cut him down except the president himself. And the president had said, young man, go and reconcile with your godfather. That is it. That's the president's word. And so all this late night meeting and all of that, this is not the first time we are having it. And I hear that Fubara has again said he's going to respect, you know, the letters of that late night accord, and like he did before and previously. So let's see what comes out of this one.
Moses, what do you think? Do you buy the idea?
Moses will not buy the idea. Moses is Fubara's supporter.
No.
Okay, I got
I don't support any of them, really. I just want good governance. That's all I ask. But Fubara comes off, you know, he puts off a posture of one who is quiet, you know, who doesn't talk too much. But he's quite loquacious.
Yes, he does.
He is. You know, so he pretends like he doesn't talk, but then he doesn't know how to fight. He will learn.
He's not a strategic fighter.
No, he's not. He's not. But I hope he learns. You know, he learns the ropes as he goes. Well,
you know, he wasn't
exactly a politician.
You know, he was recruited from the civil service.
Exactly.
And all of that. He didn't go through the ranks.
But walking around with politicians, he should have learnt a thing or two.
He worked with only one politician.
He should have learnt a thing or two from him. Because that's the person he's fighting now.
Well, he's on learning.
No, that's bad.
That's very bad.
Well, anyway, we saw that yesterday after the meeting with the president. He accompanied Wike to his lodge, and some said, okay, it looks like things are good. So, but the president already asked that the impeachment proceedings against him be stopped. And the president has also asked that he recognizes Wike as the political leader in Rivers State, which is what they will do. Well, my question is, what does that speak to democracy? The kind of democracy that we are practicing in Nigeria. I mean, if you go to those we borrowed democracy from, the United States of America, the President Trump is there, doing what he's doing, and a state like New York elected a mayor, and he wasn't in agreement with the mayor, but the mayor is challenging the president. The mayor is challenging the president, and the president doesn't have powers to suspend the mayor of New York. He doesn't have powers over the mayor of New York. They are all independent. But then, they still align with the center one way or another. But everybody each person, they're free to express themselves the way they want. That is democracy. But what we practice here, we'll know as time goes on. What we practice here.
President Bola Tinubu, then governor of Lagos State, challenged
Obasanjo.
Ojus Okalo, my own state governor then, challenged Obasanjo.
So is it that as we grow as a nation, those that emerge become weaklings?
No, it's not that those that emerge become weaklings. No, I think it should be the other way around, because the current president now is one that is tacitly, trying to rewrite our democracy by his
because
actions.
He's being allowed to do so.
No, because
a lot of other politicians are falling in line. Nigerians are basically kowtowing.
You know why? I think it has to do with what we call idiosyncratic variables, the personality of the person in government, in power. Jonathan said, with the powers at my disposal, I can do anything. And we are told that the constitution of Nigeria makes the Nigerian president the most powerful president in the world. But it depends on how you choose to use it. Now, this president is using it the way he deems fit to keep everybody in check. Obasanjo didn't do that. Jonathan didn't do that. He is doing it. So we might just see sometime a president that will come and say, well, let things flow the way they are supposed to flow. That is what is going on between Trump and the mayor of New York. I'm not sure we'll have it here in Nigeria.
No, we will not have it here. Not now.
But instructively, I also think the fact that the president has to wade in also shows that there's a lot of personalized power. And it also shows that the party structures, that is the party structure of the APC and the PDP, what's the ruling party?
APC.
Of the APC, and even legal channels don't have the power to sort it, and which is risky.
That's exactly what we are saying.
Because when you have a president having to wade into something that could have been sorted through other channels, through other legal channels, then it just shows how bad and how terribly our democracy has sunk.
Yeah, that's exactly what we are saying.
Yeah.
It's quite unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. Well, let's move away from those conversations. Those conversations will continue to trend. Nigerians will continue to react to them. But let's run to the papers now. Let's bring you newspaper headlines. From this day newspaper, these are the headlines. Access Bank's acquisition of South Africa's Bidvest Bank falls through due to regulatory hurdles. At NEC conference, Cardoso declares CBN reforms have achieved economic stability. Tinubu, terrorism, giving Nigerians sleepless nights will overcome them all. Insists security threats unacceptable. Protest in Kaduna as bandits abduct 7. All right. Another. Electoral Act. Coalition of CSOs warns 2027 elections may be compromised. Appeal to National Assembly to adopt real-time transmission of results. Pass bill in 2 weeks. Obi joins protesters at federal legislature. Agbakoba backs call for real-time electronic transmission of results in 2027 polls. NGE, Huriwa, other groups warn Senate. And of course, yes, those are the headlines from this day newspaper.
And the Punch newspaper leads with the story, Senate reconvenes today as Electoral Act triggers uproar. Obi joins NAS protesters. Kuka demands review. Anger mounts over controversial amendments. Akpabio leads tense emergency session. Banditry crisis. Federal government rejects Northern governor's call to suspend mining. Oyo princes launch court fight to preserve Alaafin's supremacy. President vows to replace open grazing with ranching reforms. CBN, NCC propose instant reforms for failed airtime and data. Again, US to deport 18 Nigerians on criminal list. Over 75 million Nigerians face retirement without pensions. That's from PENCOM.
Okay, now let's quickly run through the Vanguard newspaper. CBN, NCC proposed 30 minutes timeline for reform on failed airtime, data purchases. Now the window headlines. 9 worshippers abducted during night vigil in Benue Catholic Church. Midnight abduction sparks protest in Kaduna's Millennium City. Banditry, terrorism are economic hindrances we must overcome. Tinubu. U.S. intervention in Nigeria a blessing. That's coming from Remi Tinubu, the First Lady, our president's wife. U.S. intervention in Nigeria a blessing. Now the big story, Electoral Act, Senate open to criticism. Will resolve issue today. Senate spokesman. With the riders, protest rocks NAS over e-transmission of results. Obi joins protest, says Nigerians don't want glitch again. NGE, Abakoba, AME, MCE, fixed politics, others speak. CSOs demand real-time results. Downloadable voters' cards. Okay, that's a picture of the protesters that I can see Peter Obi, Tanko Yunusa, Peter for Nigeria, and Aisha Yusuf, and a lot more people. Chanwulu flags off health safety initiative for 10,000 Lagos drivers. Children chant, "Our communities, our home," as Lagos lawmakers visit Makoko. I'll take that again for clarity and emphasis. Children chant, "Our communities, our home," as Lagos lawmakers visit Makoko. Nigeria will continue borrowing to fund 25.91 trillion naira budget deficit. That's coming from the Senate. As NAS vows not to approve further budget rollovers, subsidies. The bottom strip headlines, Rivers crisis, Fubara Mwike meet Tinubu in Abuja. Suspension, appeal court dismisses Natasha's case, says Senate acted within its powers. Why is it difficult for new players to break into Super Eagles? That's coming from the Super Eagles coach, Shelley. And that's it from the Vanguard newspaper.
And yes, that's it for newspaper headlines. Now we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get into our first conversation for today. It's on electoral reforms. CSOs march to the National Assembly. Peter Obi joins protesters at the National Assembly over Senate's rejection of real-time transmission of election results. Let's talk about this when we come back. Stay with us.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
Evening Africa, my name is Bola, actor, model, producer, and I'm giving a big shout out to VOP TV, man. Keep watching, don't change the dial, thank you and God bless you.
My name is AY, and of course I represent the voice of the people, and that's why I'm on VOP. AY say so.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Miriam Tima from the Real Housewives of Lagos and the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Africa. Shout out to VOP, the voice of the people. You already know, stay tuned, keep watching. And don't forget, VOP is the best.
Alright, hello, it's a boy that's shaking the man fine back with Melanie Poppy Black Skin Boy. This is VOP TV. If you're not watching VOP, I don't know why you're watching. Maybe you're watching your weights. Bye.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Wale Ojo, and you're watching VOP, Voice of the People.
Hi, guys. You already know who it is. This is New Energy. Flyers whatever live. Keep watching VOP TV. Thank you.
Hi, people. Ginny Albano here. Guys, please keep watching Voice of the People.
In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs the voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day,
The grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Mr. Familoni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
Arara, my name is Made Kuti, and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Welcome back, and you're still watching VOP this morning. In a major show of defiance, Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi on Monday led thousands of protesters to the gates of the Nigeria's National Assembly, demanding the reinstatement of real-time electronic transmission of election results, a provision controversially struck out by the Senate despite earlier approval. Chanting slogans and waving placards, demonstrators accused lawmakers of attempting to undermine electoral transparency and disenfranchise millions of voters. The protest, which drew civil society groups, youth activists, and ordinary citizens, was marked by heavy security presence, as Obi declared that Nigerians would not accept backdoor manipulation of their democratic rights. Images and videos circulating on social media show crowds blocking entrances, singing solidarity songs, and calling for accountability, while police officers stood guard to prevent escalation. The Senate's rejection has ignited widespread outrage, with critics and opposition parties warning that it could erode public trust in the electoral processes ahead of 2027. Joining us in the studio this morning to discuss this topic, we have Prince Francis Chilaka, who's a political and public affairs analyst and commentator. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Good morning.
And we also have Elvis Ehimehele, who is a political and public affairs analyst and commentator. Thank you for joining us this morning. So I think I'll just start with you. We've seen this protest. This is one of the many protests we've had in Nigeria. Yes. And yesterday's was very instructive. We had Peter Obi there and a lot of civil rights organizations. What do you think? What's your thoughts? Are you happy about this move? And do you think that it might yield positive results at a time like this?
Jane, I must confess to you that I was so proud to be a Nigerian yesterday. I was so happy because what we actually need is what played out yesterday. Nigerians need to take their nation back with them. And it began yesterday. And more of this is what we are expecting. You know, when they hurriedly went on recess, you know, after sitting for just 3 days, they thought they were going to come back in February 24, what they said, and we are going to just, abide by the shenanigans they were trying to play out. But Nigerians told them enough is enough, and that was a good one yesterday. I keep saying that for democracy to thrive, the people own it. When you take the people out of democracy, you are calling for anarchy. That's why the definition is just simply the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So when Nigerians saw that in October there was a coup attempt and everybody condemned it, then in February the legislators wanted to reignite a coup against the democracy that we so fought for. Then dear Nigerians said no. We kicked against against coup attempt in October. Why are you bringing back coup in a democracy that we so fought for? And that's what you saw yesterday, that played out yesterday. Everybody that came out made me proud, and they made Nigerians proud. And if they don't shift, the goalposts from what we saw earlier, I think they actually said the protest to continue, and we are waiting.
Yes,
because we want that protest to continue until we get
the final protest to continue until.
Yes,
okay.
because they cannot ambush us and make us to look foolish.
Can we ambush them?
Oh, that's what happened yesterday.
We can ambush them.
Absolutely, because how many are they? We are not even talking about the House of Rep, because House of Rep did not do this.
Oh, so we're talking about
it was only 109 persons that just wanted to take the destiny of over 200 million people into play. And
okay.
so everybody that came out yesterday,
you don't accept the reasons given by the President of the Senate as to why e-transmission may not work. Some states, about 9 of them, are having issues of insecurity, and network may not exactly work in those states, and that may just affect e-transmission of results. You don't buy that?
Those are just mere excuses, Moses. In 2023, we were very ripe for this transmission of results, through IREV. There were no complaint from Mahmoud. Mahmoud got over 300 billion to put everything in place, and he even went to Chatham House and also said that we were ready. And we also saw that even those states he made mention of, the legislative arm of government, the election of senators and the House of Rep were transmitted. There were no error. Remember the legislative arm of government election were quite transmitted in that 2023 general election. It was only the presidency's own that they switched it off and called it a glitch. So where did it arise now that 9 states now? Are we moving backward or we are moving forward? That suddenly now we just heard now that 9 states, there's no network in 9 states. That's a pure lie, because we saw House of Senate election and House of Rep election transmitted into the IREV in 2023. Then they are now making excuses about that 9 states. It's a big lies to Nigerians. And two, is there any part of this nation that you go to that you cannot even send tests, ordinary tests, with your phone? What we are calling for is just like sending tests. It's not bigger than that. And even the NCC has told Nigeria that even with 2G, that job can be done seamlessly. Okay. Why are we talking about this time around? Okay. So I don't know why APC, after getting about 31 states or so, now suddenly is jittering. Towards the election, they feel that they have 31 states in their kitty. Why are you afraid?
All right. Okay.
Have we not said democracy is all about number? So they just have the states, they don't have the number. Let's wait, because Nigerians are waiting. Nigerians have the number, not APC.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Mr. Elvis Elimehele. Now let's come to Prince Francis Chilaka. We're having a conversation just when you stepped into the studio, and let me start from that conversation. Peter Obi being present at the protest. Some have said he's desperate. He's showing desperation. Must he join protesters and all of that? Some have said, oh, Peter Obi is showing what democracy should be, because he's a contender, and of course he probably would want what is right. So what are your thoughts? I know you are you're a supporter of Peter Obi.
Let's start from those who say Peter Obi is desperate. They should say that President Bola Tinubu was the most desperate person before now. All the protests that happened during Jonathan, he was in the forefront. So who is more desperate? A man who spent 25 years protesting and preparing himself, and a man who tells you things must be done the right way. So Peter Obi is not desperate. For those who want to hear, Peter Obi is simply exercising his right as a Nigerian. Okay. The same right you have. And that's what democracy is. That's the beauty of democracy. The beauty of democracy is to be able to speak out, speak power, speak, truth to power when there is need to do that. the National Assembly has no right to try to ambush Nigerians from behind. And like I've said, what kind of National Assembly do you have? You have a National Assembly filled with ex-governors who failed their states. Ex-governors who don't have anything to show, no legacy. And you expect them to be different from what they were when they were governors? So it is high time that they also need to understand that for the fact that you have been in the Senate and enjoying the largesse of the office does not give you the right to decide the fate of 230 million Nigerians. We employ them. They didn't employ us. You cannot employ a manager who is more stronger than you. If you employ a manager and your manager begins to tell you when to sign a check, when to go on leave, then you must sack that manager. Okay. So for us, if the National Assembly feel, especially the Senate, if they feel that they're more important than Nigerians, we'll ask them to go.
Okay, now, Prince, when the protesters got to the precincts of the National Assembly yesterday, they were told that they are recessed, and they were built to meet on to reconvene on the 24th of February. But all of a sudden, we hear they are coming back to reconvene today. Does it look like the protest worked?
It worked.
Okay, it worked because they are coming back.
It's not because they're coming back, because they have a mission. And I believe that as we sit here, we also have the same desire. We want to have a country where our elections are credible, free and fair. We don't want to have an election that at the end of the day you go to court, the court will tell you, oh, this thing you are asking for is not tenable.
Prince, as the Senate, instantaneously reconvenes today, do you think that they are going to, acquiesce to the wishes of Nigerians?
They have no choice, honestly speaking. And we need to stop this whole shenanigans of voice vote.
Okay.
We need to know who voted for and who voted against. That is accountability. We need to know those who are in support. And we need to know those who are against.
Why I asked you this question, whether the Senate will acquiesce, is because we see, lately we've been talking about the tax reform bills. Nothing has come out of it. Whether it was manipulated or whether, I'm looking for the appropriate word now, whether it was altered or not. As at this time, they're still setting up committee upon committee. It's not being resolved. So how soon do you think that this could be resolved?
Nigerians are not ready for that tax bill yet.
Okay. But there was also a protest.
No. That is not a protest. Nigerians are not ready.
Okay.
Because Nigerians, right now, what we want to have sorted out is how we conduct elections in this country. If you have a standard of conducting an election that makes it free and fair, then the country is ready to develop. So Nigerians have taken the issues one after the other. It is at the end when people begin to see that monies are being removed, like banks are saying, from the account. That is when Nigerians will wake up for the tax. Nigerians are not ready, they're not ready yet.
All right then. Well, thank you very much, Prince Francis Chilaka. Now, let's go to Benin, where Frank Ehioshun is standing by. Frank, good morning to you. Good to see you. It's been a while. Let's establish communication with you. Let's get your audio feed.
Good morning from the heartbeat of the nation.
Great to have you. Great to have you on the program. Frank, have you been following? Well, I expect that you've been following this conversation, and you heard your friend, Godswill Akpabio, say a few things that he said. Some would say that the president of the Senate is probably preempting the outcome of the elections, or what would happen in 2027 when he, said, what if there is a grid collapse? And we know how frequently the national grid has collapsed in Nigeria. If there is a collapse, what if there is a collapse? Would that justify anything that may happen or may not happen in 2027? Do you see this? Do you see his statement as being preemptive?
I see it a little beyond that. It's a properly planned, like some folks call it coup, well structured. That is the truth. Unfortunately, welcome to Nigeria, where the absurd is the norm. My first disappointment is with the bulk of the folks we call the opposition in the Senate. Though Senator Abaribe with his colleagues came out to put forth some kind of a counter somewhat to where the good gap before the public. But it doesn't excuse the lacuna on their side that they allow that to fly in the Senate. I watched the video time and again, and I said, wow, what happened to all the senators who had been canvassing and speaking for, in quotes, what the committee had marked as the position of the Senate with reference to the relevant section, 60 sub 3, as the case may apply? How come within a few minutes, the chief whip moved the motion and all the senators were deliberately or intentionally distracted? Because in my opinion, nobody distracted them. They chose to be distracted. Being in the Senate and a session was ongoing, you had no other thing to do than to listen to discussions that ensued and ensure that you followed every bit that went on in total. If you're in the Senate for 3 hours, within the 3 hours timeline, there should be no second lost in terms of the thrust of the essence of being there. So for them to be in the Senate and somebody moved the motion and the Deputy Senate President seconded it, he didn't stop at that, he moved the second motion.
If I'm not mistaken, what is the weight of the opposition in the Senate right now when we have about 75 senators out of 109, 75 of them are members of the APC, and about 26 or thereabout, 26 are members of the PDP, and the rest have like 4, 2, and maybe 1 each. SDP has 1 person in the Senate. NNPP has 1 person in the Senate. All Progressive Grand Alliance, ABGA, has 2. Labour Party 4, and maybe a few others. Just a few numbers there.
No, see my point.
What's the weight? What's the weight of the opposition?
It's not about the number. Let's look at the trajectory. There are 39 others. Since you have 75 from the party that has majority, the APC. But my point is this. The documents that they brought for consideration, majority of the members of the subcommittee that worked on that document, that adopted the transmission of results electronically, majority of them are APC members. That is the truth. If those folks who are in opposition had raised an eyebrow, if they had been circumspect enough and not be distracted by choice, if they had raised an eyebrow immediately, I can bet on the fact that so much of the people you call the APC people would have opposed it, because there was already a consensus. That was why that was so much the position of the committee, so assigned to do the job. The fact that it was in that provision did not come from the blues. It wasn't by accident. It was because it was the prevalent position of majority of the members of the Senate, which in this case even reflects the APC members of the Senate. So the concussion that took place there, which they attributed to the so-called coup, may have just been a plan by 5, 6, or 7 persons who took advantage of the distraction. That is my point. On Wednesday when it happened, there was no hue and cry. Up until Thursday when folks from the media now highlighted the anomaly. That was when the opposition seemed to wake up and realize that they needed to address the press. I am saying that I'm not excusing Abaribe and the team of opposition senators. They already had a flaw. And even the speech they gave, they said it wasn't passed. Are they talking to dummies? We watched the sitting. The Senate president passed it by the normal process they go about. When he said those are saying nay, there was hardly any voice. That's why he now said the yes or the yea.
Okay, we need to address now, another. Okay, let's have you land on your thoughts. Land on your thoughts, please.
That does not excuse the fact that the overwhelming disposition of Nigerians against it will not counter it. The opposition parties in the country, even if they staged a protest yesterday, I beg to differ. The action of opposition is very, very, very far below what is expected. Like the president himself said during the 2023 election, that power is not served a la carte. What you need, you go for it. the opposition should be more frontal. The riot or the protest so-called, for me, is just a tip of the iceberg compared to what the APC would have done when they were in the opposition. So I expect the opposition to wake up, because right now, as we are seated, the Senate has already passed it as their own law.
Sorry, Frank, you're talking about the opposition now. Peter Obi was there yesterday. Was Peter Obi a lone ranger? I mean, did you expect to see the likes of Atiku Abubakar, the likes of David Mark, and all these people in the opposition? Talking about the opposition, because as far as you're concerned, the opposition has not done enough, to pressure the government to do what is right. Apart from Peter Obi, who else did you expect to see there to make it have the kind of weight that you want?
Most of the names you mentioned, I expected to see them there, or to see some signs that they are involved in the process. Some of them have not even made a statement concerning this thing. That's why I said that, like the president said in his election campaign in 2023, that power is not served a la carte. The opposition has not put up the kind of vigor that would make you feel that these guys are serious about the change they are pursuing to ensure that power is given to the people and things change in the country. 2014, 2013, we don't have to take a ride back in time to recall what happened then when the APC came on board. You could see, even when an issue is as infinitesimal as something that is mentioned, you see the way the APC blows it up in the media. They even go as far as using international media and several networks. They make a mountain out of a molehill.
Frank.
My point is that the opposition right now,
okay,
they have not reflected that level of seriousness.
All right, now let's talk about
what is great.
Okay,
what is not enough.
Frank, okay, well noted. A lot of people interpret Peter Obi's action yesterday as desperation. Do you read desperation into his actions yesterday? Is he desperate?
I don't see his action as a reflection of desperation. I see it as leadership by example. What Peter Obi reflected yesterday was simply leadership by example. You walk the talk. You don't sit in the comfort of your office or abodes in whatever part of the world and just speak in confidence. Why not coming out to join and lead those who want to express their dissatisfaction for real? So his action was worthwhile. That's why I said I wish the others joined the queue. When APC was in opposition, was Buhari not in protest? Buhari himself, that was the anchor man, he was involved in protest.
All right, Frank, before we move to our next guest, I'd like to ask you, in all of this, if you, the way you understand Nigerian politics, do you think that anything will come out of this protest?
It will be a very big shame if nothing comes out. But like I said just now, these guys, if I call them vampires, I'm saying it in context. And those who are opposing must look at them from that standpoint. Because the law has been passed. All the English being spoken today, unfortunately, except today they review it. And I hope that something is done outright. If not, if they choose to go by their harmonization process and the Senate has its way, even if the House of Rep has its own already structured. Look, this thing can be a big game plan, though. That's why I say the opposition should not sit aloof and think that all is well. The fact that the House of Rep passed it and the Senate has this, these guys can structure it to ensure that at the end of the day they succeed with what they want. That's why I said I can't beat my chest to say that the protest already has some results in view. That's why I said more action must be taken, sustained and coordinated to make the pressure felt.
We were making a some sort of side talk earlier in the day, just before we came on, talked about this protest and the way it went and the possibility of anti-protesters protesting against the protest. And I posited that if this protest linger for longer than today, we might see some people come up as anti-protesters. Do you foresee that happening as well? And if that happens, do you think it will destroy the work already being done? When you start seeing anti-protesters saying politicians, naysayers are trying to, twist the hand of the Senate to ensure that they get their bidding. Already, we're hearing some people saying, that that people want e-transmission because they have perfected the method of rigging, using technology. We've had that already.
That is why I said something just now. You see, if you follow up discourse in the media for the past 2 days or thereabouts, or even more, you see that there are equally counter views as to saying, just like the discussant said in the studio a while ago, that you don't have network everywhere, make reference to what the Senate President said.
Okay.
In the same light, as we are talking right now, I'll be surprised if there are no counter protesters already in front of the Senate.
Now, it's a good thing that you said that. Let's quickly go to the National Assembly where protesters have gathered. So, gentlemen, would like you to stay with us as we run to the National Assembly. I understand that Aisha Yesufu is addressing protesters at the moment. So let's just take this feed from the National Assembly and then we'll come back to the conversation here.
Just looking at policemen here, you will not realize that a community in Kwara State has gotten a warning that terrorists are going to attack. Meanwhile, we have policemen and women standing here protecting the people who are destroying the nation in a way. I don't even understand. Unarmed protesters, it's what police have gathered, packed their packables and whatever, and they are here. Unarmed protesters that have nothing, that have only placard, they are doing show of force. Police is doing show of force for citizens. Come on, I know they shame. Some are not tired now. You are driving your car. The worst thing that will happen, you will hit me or you will shoot. It is no worse than that. Terrorists do more than that. A community in Kwara has received warning from terrorists. The other one we had almost 200 people killed. What happened? They received the warning. Nigerian police were nowhere to be found. These terrorists went there. From sunset to sunrise, they were able to operate. They killed almost 200 people. All of you here with your guns, shamelessly, you couldn't protect citizens. When you get here, I go to put up with air. Meanwhile, you're suffering every day. Every day, your colleagues that have retired are hungry. They are begging for voices. They are telling us to come out and speak on their behalf. Your colleagues are on the road. Every day they are begging. They are calling us. Oh, they cannot come out. Yet, anytime citizens are coming out, those of you that should stand by the citizens are the ones that are sent to come and stop them. All of it don't gather, don't cover everywhere. In short, all of them cover gather everywhere. As you what? You are setting your gun. Terrorists are out there killing. Madam, look at me. Your children, can they attend the school that don't senators and state presidents or whatever attend you? Never. You know they pay you. They pay us. When you come back home, your child will ask you, why am I not in good school where there is good quality education? And you will say what? You are coming out to stop those who are just saying that the right thing should be done. So I don't understand what this show of force is all about. You're putting barricades. A community in Kwara has received a letter. They kill you all needlessly. The idea of police will never say anything. Anytime that a policeman or woman is killed, they don't care. And when citizens come out, they send you and you stand. Then you have to tell us, and you know we are this, we are that. No! Have you seen, even when citizens came out to protest for them to be paid well, they sent them. It's actually funny, just looking at policemen here, you will not realize that a community. Never. You know they pay you. They pay us. When you come back home, your child will ask you, why am I not in good school where there is good quality education? And what? You are coming out all about. Look at the barricade. Look at it. You are putting barricades. A community in Kwara has received a letter. They kill you all needlessly. The IG of police will never say anything. Anytime that the police.
All right, there you have it. Aisha Yesufu addressing the police barricade right there as you approach the National Assembly. Those you have a few members of the press with her. I think protesters may just assemble much later, but from what we can see, the protesters are yet to assemble. But let's bring it back to the studio. Prince Francis Chilaka. There you have. What do you make of the? You see, it's the second day, and now we have a barricade, which basically means that the police is, giving out a show of force. Now, is this because the Senate is sitting today, or is this to generally kill the protest that might still happen today?
Well, I think we need to look beyond whether to kill the protest or not, and to look at it from how does this portray this government to the international community. The wife of the president has been all over the news, talking of how she's been respected, how Nigeria is being carried off, how Nigeria has become the centerpiece. And I said this morning, the centerpiece of what? The centerpiece of bad governance, the centerpiece of corruption, the centerpiece of poverty, the centerpiece of insecurity. And then now, the centerpiece of people not allowed to exercise their fundamental rights. So for me, I think that the Nigerian police, they're always they're overbearing. They like to show force.
Would you blame them really?
When they shouldn't show force.
Would you blame them?
Whether you blame them or not, tomorrow these guys will retire. You will see them queuing on the road, begging people, telling you that their pension has not been paid. Don't they have common sense? Don't they realize that what Nigerians are asking for is something that not only better the lives of the ordinary Nigerians, but also their own lives? So that's the point.
Why do you think one clause is suddenly mobilizing people? What deeper frustrations do you see behind all of this?
It's not about one clause. It's about the fact that Nigerians are getting tired. Nigerians are getting tired of being manipulated by their leaders. Nigerians are getting tired of the fact that, hunger is staring them in the face, poverty. The development promised to us by the APC government since 2015, we haven't seen it. The 8 years of the late president was a colossal disaster, which we know. This one is about going to the third year now. What is there to show? This is a country where you have no good roads, but yet Nigerians are paying money for roadworthiness. The roads are not worthy. You can't use them. But you're paying for it. This is a country where you give a security vote to governors that is not accounted for, yet insecurity is prevailing. This is a country where you keep talking about healthcare. You have some governors in the Senate who said that they built first-class hospitals, world-class hospitals, so to say. Yet, the hospitals are not functional. They don't even have ordinary aspirin in those hospitals. So the problem goes beyond what you and I are seeing. The problem is deep. And it's so annoying that, look at Abia State, that suddenly is becoming lively. We're seeing real development. You have failed governors coming out to gang themselves up together. In other words, what they're telling us is that the likes of Alex Otti is a madman. He shouldn't exist in Nigeria. And that's the truth. Because you're seeing a man that is working. The thing you couldn't do, 3 of you added together, 8 times 3 is 24, isn't it? They couldn't do anything in 24 years. And somebody is doing it in less than 4 years, and you're ganging up against that person. It simply shows you how wicked some of our so-called leaders are.
All right, then, Elvis, let me come back to you now. Talking about, now, Peter B's presence at that protest, does it give a pointer to the fact that he just might be the front runner for the ADC?
Moses, you are pulling my legs. I think we are watching. ADC said they are going to do an open primaries that everybody will be satisfied with, and we know too well that His Excellency Peter Obi has the number, he has the popularity, and we also know too well that Nigerians are saying that we need credible leaders that we can vouch for at least come 2027. So, with all these good recommendation we have around him, it's left for the ADC to actually use their tongue to count their teeth.
Okay,
especially when it comes to the
someone here
primaries.
who is with the ADC, has friends in the ADC. I don't know if he's a carry member of the ADC. At least you haven't told me that yet. But tell us, give us some inside information. So Nigerians will stop worrying.
I'll stand where I've always stood
on
this issue. I've said to you that Alhaji Abubakar Atiku will not contest.
Will not contest.
He will not contest.
Is that inside information?
I'm just telling you. That's been what I've
Okay, your position.
Yes, he will not contest. And you know why? Let me tell you, I have quite a number of northern friends. And they said this to me. They said, look, if ADC puts up an Atiku, they would rather vote for Bola Tinubu.
And this is coming from your northern friends?
Yes. Why? Because they also believe that the 8 years of Buhari, which is in the north, must also complete, must have the 8 years of the south.
Okay.
And a lot of northerners are beginning to ask themselves questions. With all the years that the north have held sway, what development have they brought to the north?
How then do you explain the botched coup where you had more participants from the northern?
Well, if you say, for me, I don't believe there was a coup. Honestly speaking, I don't believe there was a coup. Because a coup is not something you hide. Coup is like pregnancy. You don't hide it.
No, you hide it until it comes out.
You don't hide it. No, and for the government to have done what they have done, I don't trust what the government is saying. Personally, I don't.
Okay.
Because you no matter what happens, when the news broke out that there was a coup, and the government, the military came out and said, no, the government came out and said, there was no coup. People have been detained for disciplinary actions. At that point in time, that was the truth of the matter. Whatever
you believe the government in that regard?
Yes.
Okay, but when
they said there was a coup,
when the government said nobody died in Kwara State, you didn't believe them?
In Kwara? We know what happened in Kwara now.
At the time?
No,
when they
in
said,
Kaduna State. It wasn't Kwara, it was
Kaduna State.
I came out and said no. No, they said nobody was kidnapped.
Nobody was kidnapped.
And I said no. I said people were kidnapped.
So you didn't believe
If the government says something these days, if the government says good morning, you need to go outside and check if it's morning or night.
Okay, so you choose when to believe and when not to believe them?
Because there's a trust deficit, which they have created.
Okay. Still, please hold that thought. Still talking about trust deficit. If the game, eventually changes, how do you convince the opposition that the game will be fair when majority of the referees are from the opposition, from the ruling party? So how do you?
Let me tell you something. Every now and then, professors going on strike, lecturers going on strike, and for me, it's laughable. And why do I say so? Those who manage our elections are professors. And when they manage these elections, they do not see the need to ensure that no rigging, no snatching of boxes, no alteration of marks. They pretend that all is well. And then when you support a system that is not functional, a system that is not working, how do you expect that system to favor you at the end of the day? How do you expect it? If the professor that handled the election in Abia State had caved in, Abia State would have probably had the worst governor they can ever think of. So it's not just about the senators. It's about these professors who claim to be educated, but foisting uneducated people on the country. So the professors need to go and think twice. What do they want for this country? What are they teaching the younger generation of Nigerians? So that's my own argument. My argument is that 2027 Nigerians will speak. It's going to be Nigeria against the ruling party.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Prince Francis Chalaka. Now let's go to Benin. Frank, let's get your concluding thoughts on this one. Prince Francis, I'll take that as your concluding thoughts. Thank you very much. Frank, let's get your concluding thoughts on this one. It's day 2 of the protest. You saw Aisha Yesufu there. It seems to be building. Will it build up beyond that? Are you impressed? It's what time is it now? It's minutes past 9. It's 13 minutes past 9. Are you impressed? Did you expect to see more protesters at that ground or on that ground? Or are you disappointed? Let's have your audio feed. And then
I can hear you very well. I can hear you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I said I'm sorry to say that it's not the two of the protests. In my opinion, there's no protest ongoing. Apart from the bit of what happened yesterday. You see, I said something earlier. The opposition does not radiate the bite or people want to take power. I make bold to say, if it were the time of APC 2013, 2014 that this kind of thing happened, there have been protests across the 36 states of the Federation. In fact, there will be mountain of action that will show to the government of the day that if they don't do the right thing, the people will be mobilized against them. But the opposition we have right now don't look serious. I tell you, if I were in their shoes, by now there should be meetings with the core anchors of the opposition, of the different parties, the ATC, and the others, giving press conferences, threatening the fact that they will not participate in the election if this transmission issue is not addressed. But they are sitting in their comfort zone and sipping wines. Aisha Buhari is struggling on her own. Between you and I,
Yes,
ATC, I've been involved in this political thing for over 2 decades. It doesn't take anything to organize protests, especially in Nigeria, where it's unfortunately a case of pay as you go in most cases. ATC has secretariats in Abuja. What does it take to whisper all the words, mobilize 100 people each or 50 people each, assemble at the assembly? There's no reason why they should not have at least 5,000 people to show seriousness. They have membership across the country. This protest should be national. They even have the luck of having Labour, MBA, civil society, so many people voicing the same groundswell of opposition. If it were in the days of APC being in opposition, you know what they would have done. They would simply take advantage and mobilize these structures. But the ADC is sitting aloof while Aisha Buhari is standing in front of National Assembly. That is no protest. I don't see anything going on yet.
All right, then Aisha Yesufu actually is the person there. But thank you very much, Frank Hioshu. Now let's move away from that conversation. Let's get into another conversation. Are economic reforms yielding positive results? This is coming from President Bola Tinubu. Well, some will agree, some will disagree. We'll find out the position of the analysts in the House after this break.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise and scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice. The show.
That is why we are here. If it's sure for them, give us free and fair election. That is what they know they mobilize people here and there. Now we be the trenches, now we go to vote. Now we want Nigeria to be great. So all we want is the meeting what they do today. Now so we shout out. All we want is pass the bill. Pass the bill. Akpabio pass the bill. Akpabio pass the bill. Not the annotated bill. No. Yes. No, not that one. Not the fraudulent one. Pass the bill so that our results can, as we are voting, one man, one vote. One man, one just looking at policemen here, you will not realize that a community in Kwara State has gotten a warning that terrorists are going to attack. Meanwhile, we have policemen and women standing here protecting the people who are destroying the nation in a way. I don't even understand. Unarmed protesters is what police have gathered, packed their packables and whatever, and they are here. Unarmed protesters that have nothing, that have only placard, they are doing show of force. Police is doing show of force for citizens. Come on, I know they shame. Some are not tired now. Have you are driving your car? The worst thing that will happen, you will hit me, or you will shoot. It is no worse than that. Terrorists do more than that. A community in Kwara has received warning from terrorists. The other one, we had almost 200 people killed. What happened? They received the warning. Nigerian police were nowhere to be found. These terrorists went there. From sunset to sunrise, they were able to operate. They killed almost 200 people. All of you here with your guns, shamelessly, you couldn't protect citizens. When you get here, meanwhile you're suffering every day. Every day your colleagues that have retired are hungry. They are begging for voices. They are telling us to come out and speak on their behalf. Your colleagues are on the road. Every day they are begging. They are calling us. All day they cannot come out. Yet, anytime citizens are coming out, those of you that should stand by the citizens are the ones that are sent to come and stop them. All of it alone don't gather, don't cover everywhere. In short, all of them cover, gather everywhere. As in what? As in what? You are setting your gun. Terrorists are out there killing. Madam, look at me. Your children, can they attend the school that don't send letters and say president will ever attend you? Never. You know they pay you. They pay us. When you go back home, your child will ask you, why am I not in good school where there is good quality education? And you will say what? You are coming out to stop those who are just saying that the right thing should be done. So I don't understand what this show of force is all about. You are putting barricades. A community in Kwara has received a letter. They kill you all needlessly. The idea of police will never say anything. Anytime that a policeman or woman is killed, they don't care. And when citizens come out, they send you and you stand. Then you have to tell us, and you know we are this, we are that. No! Have you seen, even when citizens came out to protest for them to be paid well, they sent them. Never. You know they pay you. They pay us. When you come back home, your child will ask you, why am I not in good school where there is good quality education? And you will say what? You are coming out to stop those who are just saying that the right thing should be done. So I don't understand what this show of force is all about. You are putting barricades. A community in Kwara has received a letter. They kill you all needlessly. The idea of police will never say anything. Anytime that a policeman or woman is killed, they don't care. And when citizens come out, they send you and you stand. Then you have to tell us, and you know we are this, we are that. No! Have you seen, even when citizens came out to protest for them to be paid well, they sent them to stop those protesters. What is it? You are here showing the show of force when citizens are out there being killed. Kwara State, they operated from sunset to sunrise. They killed people. They slaughtered people. you have children. Every one of you, imagine in front of your houses, they carry your child that you have suffered. That for those of you that are women here, have carried for 9 months in their womb, you know how hard labor is. You give that to that child, to those children, and they come out. For those of you who are men here, for those of you who know what it is to pay those school fees, all year in, year out, primary school, nursery, primary, secondary, the child is in the university, and then they slaughter that child. And you are here protecting the people that will never stand for you, that will never protect you. When you leave this job, you will meet us on the street, and you will call, you will beg us to stand for you. I tell you that smile will be wiped out of your face when you see your child lifeless in front of you, and God will strike you if you say God forbid, because those people whose children are being killed, they are citizens just like us. They are citizens just like us. Those Kwara people who have gotten another note, another letter telling them that terrorists are coming, they are citizens just like us. The fact that we live in Abuja, we can have one of you to come out against protesters. It doesn't mean they are not citizens. When it's time for voting, they will carry ballot paper and go and meet them. They will carry ballot boxes and go and meet them. They will tell them to vote. But here we are. All we are asking for is electronic transmission. Actually funny, just looking at policemen here, you will not realize that the community in Kwara State has gotten a warning that terrorists are going to attack. Meanwhile, we have policemen and women standing here protecting the people who are destroying the nation in a way. I don't even understand. Unarmed protesters is what police have gathered, packed their packables and whatever, and they are here. Unarmed protesters that have nothing, that have only placard, they are doing show of force. Police is doing show of force for citizens. Come on, I know they shame. Some are not tired now. You are driving your car. The worst thing that will happen, you will hit me, or you will shoot. It is no worse than that. Terrorists do more than that. A community in Kwara has received warning from terrorists. The other one, we had almost 200 people killed. What happened? They received the warning. Nigerian police were nowhere to be found. These terrorists went there. From sunset to sunrise, they were able to operate. They killed almost 200 people. All of you here with your guns, shamelessly, you couldn't protect citizens. When you get here,
for it. Tinubu won't travel out of this country after his presidency if those people are killed. The day he leaves this place, take the president of Philippines. Where is he now? Yeah. Where is he? He's in jail. Still in jail. For 5,000 persons. But Nigerians are afraid. That's why in my car I always play Fela. Because it's fear. They put that fear in you. So bloody what? They want to arrest me? Okay. Compare our time. I'm talking to the youth now. Yes. Compare our time when we were youth to the current youth. Then we had Buhari. Then we had Bagheera. But we were always on the streets. We were shot at. We were killed. We were on the streets protesting. And the government listen. If you think that President Tinubu will listen to you, you are probably going to waste your time. So the only way we are going to make sure that we don't waste our time, we must go and get both farmers, villagers. We must get everybody to get them to hear that the only way to save Nigerians from election violence, is to allow real transmission of what's wrong with that?
Nothing. That's what we are.
What do you think we have? They are afraid to lose power. Okay. The stealing is too much. They are afraid to lose power.
So what do you think we happen when they say this is today?
Like the gentleman said, we ourselves must let them know that they should participate, they should join us. When they see the number of people who have come out, they will join. Now, what's the advantage of transmission? Electronic transmission. The advantage that very few persons will die on the election field. Very few Nigerians. You are saving the lives of Nigerians. The current election, people are dying in their droves, in their large number.
Thank you, sir.
And because people are dying, they don't care. That is, that Ababi will be in his mansion with police, with army protecting him, while people like us will be on the field. And they are rigging the election. But you know one funny thing? If you think they won't rig, you're wasting time. To stop them from rigging, we must come out in large numbers.
So you see these people over the weekend responding to this peaceful?
I don't know. If it's a Bible, I know. If it's the one I know, because we are governors at the same time, he doesn't think it matter. The problem is not taking a Bible. Even the president doesn't think the citizens matter. The only time the president began to react to insecurity was when Americans.
Exactly. The Americans involved.
The day the Americans said, "Oh, they are killing Christians," that's when the president felt his office is threatened. He doesn't care about Nigeria.
One will be tempted to ask them, for what is this protest if they are not
to stop. Okay, this is to make the mark that Nigerians must come out. You're right. What is the essence of this protest? We must go back home now before the election and mobilize ourselves in large number. If there are 300,000 policemen, bring out 600,000 Nigerians.
But sir, they are always the same.
These arms, how many people will they kill? Nigeria international law tells you you can't kill. There is a number you kill becomes actually genocide. You're talking about genocide. This is Christian, but there is a number you are not allowed. I read it at international law. Okay. And in international law, there is a number of people you will kill. For instance, in Ikwere, and you have committed genocide in Ikwere, for instance, and whoever gave that instruction must account for it. Tinubu won't travel out of this country after his presidency if those people are killed. The day he leaves this place. Because it's fear. They put that fear in you. So bloody what? They want to arrest me? Okay. Compare our time. I'm talking to the youth now. Yes. Compare our time when we were youth to the current youth. Then we had Buhari. Then we had Bagheera. But we were always on the streets. We were shot at. We were killed. We were on the streets protesting. And the government listen. If you think that President Tinubu will listen to you, you are probably going to waste your time. So the only way we are going to make sure that we don't waste our time, we must go and get both farmers, villagers. We must get everybody to get them to hear that the only way to save Nigerians from election violence, is to allow transmission, retransmission of. What's wrong with that?
Nothing. That's what we are. What do you think we have?
They are afraid to lose power.
Okay.
The stealing is too much. They are afraid to lose power.
So what do you think will happen when the Senate is on today?
Well, there you have it, Mr. Rotimi Amechi addressing the protesters that gathered at the entrance to the National Assembly. That's the feed that you were just watching. Well, let's get into another conversation and then we'll go back to bring you more update from the National Assembly. Now, President Bola Tinubu has declared that his sweeping economic reforms are beginning to yield positive results, pointing to stabilizing inflation, improved investor confidence, and Nigeria's rising profile as Africa's fourth largest economy. Speaking while declaring open the two-day National Economic Council NEC conference held in Abuja, Tinubu insisted that tough policies such as subsidy removal and tax restructuring are laying the foundation for long-term growth, even as his administration touts gains in revenue mobilization and fiscal discipline. Supporters argue that these reforms are necessary sacrifices to reposition Nigeria for global competitiveness, framing them as a turning point in the nation's economic trajectory. While critics are far less convinced, citing reports that Nigeria remains ranked among countries with the worst governance indicators, with poverty and unemployment still biting hard at ordinary households. Parallel assessments suggest that while macroeconomic numbers may look promising, the lived reality for millions of Nigerians is marked by soaring food prices. And that's the situation, and dwindling purchasing power and widening inequality. Well, that's the situation of things. Well, we still have our guest with us. I'd like to start off with Elvis Elimehele on this one. The president seems, in all of these things, is that something Nigerians are missing? Because the president seems to be, looking at things from a different prism. He's seeing positive things, but Nigerians are singing a different song entirely. Where is the disconnect? Is there a disconnect?
Yeah.
And where is the disconnect?
There is a big disconnect, Moses. That's if the president, all he has said from what you read, were actually the truth. What we are seeing now would have arise. The president would have had that confidence that, yes, I have actually done this, and as a result, I deserve that second tenure, and the people are with me. For a president who said all this, and now the National Assembly that he has also put in his pocket are working in line that they must find a way to bring him back. That shows that there is a disconnect and the president is not speaking the truth to power. If he has actually done all these things he mentioned, the economy is good, everything is working well, all his policies are working in favor of Nigerians, there wouldn't have been any need to go and start ambushing the electoral law, which will give Nigerians a credible election for 2027. If he has done so well, he would have left his judgment for the people.
Okay.
Now going to ambush the electoral law means that everything he's telling us is telling Nigerians lies. He would have left himself with Nigerians and say, I've done all this, and I know my people are with me. So let whatever situation the electoral law takes, let it go.
All right then, so that's the disconnect. But please do hold your thoughts. Gentlemen, I would like you to stay with us as we quickly go back to Abuja, because we're getting information that there is a development at the protest ground. So let's go back to Abuja, where Aisha Yusufu is, and also Rotimi Amechi. Let's see what is going on right now at the protest ground.
Now, again,
do quick.
No push me.
Camera, no push. Go like this.
Very good job.
To
Be on wide. Hello.
This is not electronic voting at all. What we are saying is that
it's still talking.
I have Jimo Salau, our correspondent, right there at the protest ground. Jimo, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
All right. So, what is the latest now? What's the latest? Do we have more numbers at the protest ground? Because when we came to you earlier, we had fewer people, and they all looked like pressmen. Do we have more numbers at the protest ground? And what are the actions of the policemen barricading the National Assembly like at this time?
Okay, good morning. My name is Sirima Jimo. As you can see, we have a few protesters today. If you see, our cameraman can zoom to a little. We have a few protesters, Asha Yusuf and some few people here. But the another dimension we are getting here today is that you can see the barricade the National Assembly. They didn't allow the protesters to go beyond this. But what some people are crying for is that the protesters, they should have a more number that they can come, because as you can see here, you see military men, see NCDC, see policemen around the arena. Maybe because today they want the National Assembly want to have emergency sitting. Maybe that's why we are having president of a security agency in the National Assembly. But the protesters are still insisting that we have a bandits ravaging some area, that if they can mobilize and come to this place, National Assembly, and resist the protesters like this, they should go there and make sure and fish out the bandit, fish out the kidnapper out there. Some of them that are protesting, that we interviewed earlier, the former governor of River State, Rotimi Amechi, was here earlier, and he addressed the protesters, and he told them that they should mobilize and come out to protest, because if they have many of the security agencies, they should make sure they have their have their own number, so that they can protest well. Meanwhile, some of the protesters are crying. Some of the protesters are crying out that it's not only the youth that should come out to protest. The people that they believe that they have robbed them in 2023, somebody like Atiku Abubakar and other elected positions, that they have robbed them, that they should come out in mass and lead. They should be the forefront of the protest and lead the protest.
Jimo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, now beautiful. For the time you have been there, have you seen movement of senators like driving into the National Assembly? Are you sure that they are actually going to reconvene today? Can you let us into what you know about whether senators have started coming in or not?
Okay, since 6 a.m. we are here this morning, but as so far so good. I have not seen any of National Assembly legislator that vehicle that are resembled that entered the National Assembly. So far so good. As I'm talking to you now, some of the protesters are coming with their mattresses. You can see them. So you can see that some of the protesters are coming with their mattresses that they want to sleep here, because they are ready to sleep here, and they are coming with the pot. You can see the pot in their hand. I don't know whether my camera lens can take some of the pot and the mattresses. They are coming with it, which means they are ready today to say that today is today, and they are ready to sleep here until National Assembly answer them and seek to their demand. So you can see some of them. They are coming with their mattresses. They even have a spoon. Oh, wonderful! You can see even have a spoon, and they have a rice. I think everybody is going to enjoy here today in the National Assembly. You can see pot. You can see mattresses with a flag, and going to make sure they are ready to say, yes, today is today. We must get whatever we are demanding from the National Assembly.
Now, Can you hazard a guess? Can you hear me, Jimo?
I can hear you.
Can you hazard a guess as to the number of people on ground now? That's one. And secondly, I can see a few people, cross the barricade without being stopped. Is it that people are allowed to cross the barricade? Because the barricade is there, but a few people have been going through it.
Okay, you can see some of them. They are crossing because
you are serving your father's land and no politician. We love our strength and faith. Do you have faith in what you are protesting? Do you have faith in where you're standing now? They don't even pay your pension. They don't pay your salary. How much do you earn? Abroad, you'll be treated like a king. Stop.
I don't think you should touch him because they're touching him.
No. You can see the protesters are crying. They want the protester. You can see the protester. They are saying they must enter. They want to see the people that are elected into the National Assembly. They are ready to be here to occupy this place today. So you can see that they are telling the security agency that they have right to occupy the place. They have right. They elected the National Assembly. They are the one that voted. They voted them in, and they have right to enter the place. So as I'm talking to you now, they have leave the barricaded area and enter. Some of them, few of them are inside here. You can see some of them here. The Mama P is there, and other protesters they are here.
Jimo, and it's a good thing that you're doing, bringing us the updates from the protest ground. We would like to let's bring it back to the studio now. Thank you very much, Jimo. We'll come back to you shortly. All right, gentlemen. Now, Frank, are you still with us?
I'm with you.
Oh, great. You watched what we all just watched, and that's that approach there, Mama Peace. That's what she's known as. That's her name, Mama Peace, talking to the policeman there. Do you think that will, that could change the mindset if that kind of message is put out there that their salaries are not being paid, they are poorly paid, pensions are not being paid. A few of their colleagues, retired colleagues, are protesting non-payment, while a few others are not being promoted because those that are in government, those that have gotten to the peak of their careers are not allowed to go. They are retained and all of that. Do you think that would create a shift in mindset and have a situation whereby the police would actually protect the people that have come to protest, and then we'll have a peaceful protest? Do you think that can achieve? That can be achieved here.
This is an isolated case, and the police is a paramilitary force. Unfortunately, the Nigerian police have maintained this viewpoint for so long a time. Of course, by our experiences on a daily basis across board, they are not quite our friends. I think that they are in front of the National Assembly, and the world at large is watching. So the police, in some sense, will be disciplined to some extent. Because in Nigeria, we know very well that the Nigerian police doesn't have respect for us, for Nigerian citizens. But I don't blame the Nigerian police, though, because it's a systemic dysfunction. It's a flow from top to bottom, because government doesn't have respect for the people. There's a prevalent dysfunction that makes Nigeria what it is. So the police performing the way they perform is simply a reflection of what is inherent in the system at large. But what is happening there right now for me is just some show of decorum, because it's, like I said, it's the FCT. Cameras are everywhere. People are watching. So,
all right, Frank.
Even if, yes.
Okay, all right, Frank. We saw Rotimi Amechi, address the journalists, the media, right there on the protest ground. And we also saw a few people come with pots and mattresses to say, well, we are ready to stay here, and we are going to stay here unending, until the National Assembly does what we want. Now, how long do you think that Nigerians can hold out in all of this, if you understand what this government is, and the fact that yesterday, there was a freehold. I mean, there were no restrictions around the protest area. But today, we see barricades, around the precincts of the entrance to the National Assembly. And so in all of this, how do you think how long are Nigerians able to hold out? Amechi has come out. We don't know who else is going to come out and all of that. Are you able to, peep into the future and see how all of this will end?
Nigerians can hold out for as long as possible. First of all, it is expected that the National Assembly will ensure that they beef up security after the protest of yesterday. It is normal. In fact, there is no country where that will not be done. That is basic. But to say that Nigerians would hold on, of course they would hold on. Like I said earlier, this is not just about Nigerians, it's about those who are leading the protest. This protest can be sustained for weeks. I said just now, Amechi is very experienced in this game. It takes nothing to make this protest worthwhile. Especially when, like I said earlier, a chunk of the population, most of the core sectors have spoken quite in support that electronic transmission is what is needed. Because what the role the Senate is playing is actually trying to take advantage of the seeming lacuna, the fact that Nigerians sometimes take shit, they tolerate whatever comes their way, taking due advantage of that. That's why they had the audacity to even pass that bill that was passed. That is the truth. So if there's enough mobilization, Amechi alone can ensure that there's enough mobilization for protests to be sustained in the 36 states of Nigeria for the next 1 month. It will take little or nothing to do that. Fortunately, like I said earlier, they have the party structure, they are a network of different groups that they align with that will ensure that that is done. In 2012, how did they sustain the protest against removal of fuel subsidy? It took little or nothing. It's just a matter of leadership.
Okay.
Propelling it, and it will be sustained.
It's just a matter of leadership. Thank you very much, Frank. Here. So now let's return to the studio, where we still have Prince Francis Chilaka and Elvis Elimihele. Prince, I'd like for you to respond or react to the live clip that we watched from Abuja. Amechi.
I'm not gonna talk about that because it's still something that is building up.
Okay.
I just want to talk about what was it started with about the president saying.
No, we'll still get into that.
No. That's for me. That is more important than this protest for now.
Okay, but for now we are just talking about. You don't want to talk about.
I don't want to talk about it because it's still something that is growing up. We haven't. The protest hasn't started.
Okay,
they're warming up.
Okay, I'll come back. Elvis, do you have anything to say about the protest?
Yeah, I love the resilience of Nigerians that came out today, and they should also try and make it like what happened in 2012 in Ojota.
Okay.
We started seeing Occupy Nigeria. Yes, we started seeing some of the characteristics of that 2012 protest. Pots, we saw food, we saw pillow, we saw spoons and all that. Yes, what it takes now is that for people that are going to be there, let them begin to provide them food stuff, let them begin to cook, let them begin to eat, so that these people will know that even if they are there, some people are outside waiting for the result of what is going to come out from what we are expecting.
Okay, to make it sustainable.
Sustainable, because yes, there should be water for them to drink.
All right.
Because that's it's important.
All right. Then.
This a flawed election is worse than coup.
A flawed election is worse than coup. Well, okay then. Okay. Now let's get your reaction to the president saying Nigeria is, things are working out.
What are the 8-point agenda of Mr. President? Because when you're saying things are working out, you look at your 8-point agenda and you say, oh, you're taking them one after the other. In the 8-point agenda, your first thing you have there is food security. Where is it? When farmers can go back to the farms? When you cannot even secure the lives of ordinary Nigerians? So food security has not been taken care of. That is one. Two, you look at ending poverty. We hear that more Nigerians are falling into poverty. And you're not, the ones that are even already there, they've gone into multidimensional. So another set is joining the poverty train. And you're talking about your policies, making sense. It doesn't make sense to me. Economic growth, job creation, where are they? What jobs have been created? If jobs have been created, you will see young boys standing on Oshodi Bridge, standing on My 2 Bridge, harassing people who are importing cars and breaking their windscreen and breaking their side mirrors. So we must look at issues. It's not when Mr. President said, oh, my policies are working, people are clapping. Nigerians are so gullible, they can clap. Even if a dog barks, they will clap. Is that unfortunate? Access to capital. Where is the capital? How much is it today to borrow money from the banks? Then you talk about improved security. For where now? You saw what happened in Kwara. You saw what happened in Benue, what happened in Plateau, what happened across the entire country. You cannot protect the people